Well, this morning I have got myself ready to go to a friend's 80th birthday. And honestly, what a joy and what a privilege to be included among the people who've been invited to this, what is considered a real milestone. Um, I wish we didn't think of any particular birthday as a milestone and that every birthday is to be, so joyously celebrated. But I can understand that people want to give particular significance to certain birthdays. That's part of our culture, I suppose. And I guess because not everybody gets to reach the age of 80 or reach such an age and still be in reasonably good health. Although my friend constantly reminds me every time we meet, finds some opportunity to tell me that she's suffering from dementia. um, and I'm not being critical here. I'm just saying, I guess I'm trying to say that this is what we tend to do once we have been given a diagnosis of one kind or another. We tend to frame our lives around or within that diagnosis. Unfortunately, that's how a lot of us are trained to think and identify ourselves and define ourselves. But that aside, what also happened this morning was just a few moments ago. One of my neighbours, 2 floors up, came down to retrieve some of the little toys that her grandchild had dropped over the balcony. And I'm on the ground floor, so they land on in my courtyard. And she'd come down a while back because of the toys that had landed in my courtyard, wanting to, on the one hand, retrieve them, and on the other, to apologize, because it can be quite dangerous. I could be out there and something could land on my head, and it wouldn't be very pleasant at all, because these are heavy metal toys. Not large, tiny ones, but still, they can do a bit of damage. But anyway, so she came along this morning. Her grandchild had come to visit again, and over a period of time had, as part of his exploration of the world and experimenting and seeing what happens when you let go of something. Lessons in gravity, I suppose. But anyway, she came to retrieve them and once again apologized. And this time, for goodness sake, she brought me a box of chocolate and insisted that I honestly, I didn't want to accept them, because my goodness, why would anybody feel that they needed to apologize with a gift? For goodness sake. As neighbors, we can be understanding, surely, and we don't need to, oh my goodness, to be appeased in this way, right? I mean, we are all trying, I think most of us are trying to be kind and neighborly and considerate, admittedly, some of us don't seem to have got that understanding. But I think most of us want to be kind and considerate, and that's just a natural thing to do. So when things go a little bit unexpectedly, kids dropping things and so on, whether the kids are doing them intentionally or unintentionally, you know, we understand as neighbours, as adults, as generally kind people. I'm sure we understand. And so there was really no need for a gift to appease me. And I told her as much. And she said, no, you absolutely need to have this. So I accepted it. I mean, she had to tell me, you cannot refuse a gift. Okay, that was it. I really felt, okay, I couldn't do that. It wouldn't have been proper. But yeah, this is the stuff of life, isn't it? One of the things I've had to really, really try and learn and accept and live by, that this idea that we have that life needs to go in a particular way and on a straight line, uninterrupted. I think most of us tend to unconsciously carry that idea of how life should be, so that when things interrupt that that imaginary straight line that we've decided is the trajectory of our life, we can really get terribly upset. We can fall off the rails, fall off the line, because that's what it seems like is happening. And when we fall off the rails, when things get a little bit tricky or gnarly or unpredictable, it's not easy for us to just accept it as the very ebb and flow of life. It is it's all part and parcel of life. And I often ask myself, if I didn't have these ideas about how life should be, and if I didn't have these expectations and demands on life in the way that I do, would things bother me quite as much as they do from time to time? And of course the answer is no, absolutely not. Like, anything could happen and I would be unruffled. I'd just sail along. But being ruffled is also part of the flow of life, isn't it? It's also the way we react because of our conditioning and our life experiences. The way we react is also part of the amazing tapestry of life, or the flow of life. It's very much integral to that. And so what we do then is learn, I guess, how to be not quite so bothered by what happens. And it's something that I've been learning to do, to be able to, again, I go back to Rumi's guests arriving at the guest house, to be a little more friendly and a little less hostile, or a little less dismissive, or a little less neglecting, or wanting to get rid of these things that happen in our lives, rather to just be present and, accept that, okay, so this is happening, and it feels like shit. Sorry, I guess I shouldn't be using that word online, but yeah, it can feel pretty awful. And yeah, so, okay, let's deal with the awfulness. Let's be with the awfulness. Let's not dwell on it for too long, but let's not pretend it's not happening, and let's not let it drown us either. Yeah, so all of that happened in the space of a few minutes, a few hours, a couple of hours, me getting ready for this 80th birthday celebration. And my neighbour, she said, when I told her that I was going to this, and she said, oh, my mum just had her 80th. I said, oh, wow. And then she said, I hope I can reach 80. And I said, what? I hope you not just reach 80, but go well beyond, and do it with such health and gusto and enthusiasm and wonderful dreams and plans that get you there and beyond. And we had a good laugh. Anyway, I wonder if you've got any thoughts that you would like to share, whether on this or anything else for that matter. And regardless, wherever you are, whatever time of day or night it is for you, I truly wish you all the vitality and all the health and well-being and just the thrill of being alive. And I know sometimes it doesn't feel anywhere near a thrill, but I'd like to wish you that anyway. Lots of thrills and amazing times. Okay, talk to you later.